Good evening. My name is Michelle Allen, and I am an alum of the South Bronx Literacy Summer Scholarship Program. I am honored and humbled to be able to speak tonight at the 50th anniversary gala of the North Carolina Outward Bound School. 50 years. Amazing. In the summer of '93, the North Carolina Outward Bound School's South Bronx Literacy Summer Scholarship Program was sponsored in part by a gentleman named Sal Bombriato. With all of the expenses of the trip being covered, the only contribution that was asked of the families was $50, and that I was not able to afford. I remember visiting my middle school guidance counselor, Mr. Dwayne Johnson, not the man we know today as The Rock, and telling him about this wonderful experience that was presented to me. And after I told him that I wouldn't be able to go because I could not afford the $50, he went in his wallet and he handed me two 20s and a $10 bill. It's been almost 25 years since I completed the 6 weeks expeditionary learning experience right here in North Carolina that has forever changed my life. During the summer of '93, a nervous and unsure young lady boarded a tiny plane and spent weeks being challenged both mentally and physically with 11 of her classmates. During those 6 weeks, she spent some time at Table Rock Base Camp, but she spent most of her time in the woods of North Carolina, participating in trust activities and learning how to write, writing about reflections about hiking, backpacking, canoeing, rock climbing, and shoveling. When she arrived in North Carolina, she thought to herself, wait a minute, I willingly signed up for this? But by the time the course was over, she cried that she was leaving and vowed that she would never forget what she learned about herself, the times when she discovered that the impossible was possible, and the people who supported her along the way. In her reflections, she wrote, they kept walking, waiting to see if they could see any sign of the top, and finally they did. Everyone was happy because they made it. The expeditionaries took out their cameras and went up a short way, and they were finally at the highest point of Hawksbill. The next day, when the two instructors, Annie and Sue, asked what would be the one thing that the expeditionaries would never forget about this expedition, Angel said, Devil's Cellar, and others said bushwhacking. But the one thing that they never forgot is the view from the top of Hawksbill. It stays with you. The experience stays with you. Almost 25 years later, I find myself tapping into the magic that is Outward Bound. Moments when the possible seems impossible. Moments when I'm unsure and nervous about the road ahead. I find myself getting quiet, like when I went on my solo, and tapping into that inner strength. I find myself making decisions that don't simply benefit me, but benefit the people that are around me. I find myself stepping forward when everyone else takes one step back. I find myself accepting, not tolerating, the people around me. Character, integrity, excellence, inclusion, diversity. The values that I've learned from Outward Bound have taken me further in life than I could have ever imagined. 25 years ago, a man so generously decided to give to the NCOBs to help underprivileged youth at South Bronx High School with the hope that his contribution would one day impact the future, and he did. Today, I stand before you as the principal of a school in the Bronx. That has received the highest honor in education. In 2016, my school was named the National Blue Ribbon School of Excellence. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am now in a position where I can pay it forward and help shape the lives of children and young men and women in the Bronx that I serve each and every day. Like Mr. Richard Stopel, CEO and president of the New York City Outward Bound Schools. Or South Bronx High School Project Discovery teacher, Mr. Hamburg. Or even my physical fitness teacher, Mr. Schlanger, who is here today. Having been both a student and youth instructor with Outward Bound, it's only natural that I would teach my students and staff Outward Bound philosophy: to serve, to strive, and never yield. They say the effects of kindness are not always seen immediately. Sometimes it takes years until your kindness will pay off and is returned to you. And sometimes you never see the fruits of your labors, but they're there, deep inside the soul of the one that you've touched. With that, I just want to say thank you to all of the Outward Bound instructors who have answered the calling and chosen to make a difference in the lives of the students that you serve each and every day. I want to say thank you to all of you who continue to donate and strive to see a better tomorrow realized. And thank you to those of you who refuse to yield and keep the spirit of Outward Bound alive. It may not be seen immediately, but just imagine what your determination and kindness will mean to the world 25 years or even 50 years from now. Thank you.